Hello and welcome to some more Star Citizen. With 3.0 now live, I want to do a monthly or so state of the game, looking at what the live build is like and what needs to be fixed, what's enjoyable, what's not, pressing issues and that sort of stuff. Quickly, we'll look at Arena Commander and StarEngine first, as they give a good indication of frame rates, and yeah, as with all patches previous really, frame rates and performance are pretty good in Arena Commander and StarEngine, significantly better so than in the PU. The side modules do show off some of the graphics and beautiful scenes at higher frame rates in Star Citizen, and they're also available now if you have Squadron 42 or a Star Citizen game package. Arena Commander is a bit hit and miss at the moment though. I used to love playing Vandal Swarm, that seems quite buggy at the moment, and Vandal ships are having far too much health with the new health and shield balance. Due to ESP and the oscillating IFCS problems, I've been avoiding PvP, and general ship combat is not as good as it should feel. The combat in 3.0 isn't really working as intended. It's extremely hard to aim with the amount of oversteer and slide that these issues have caused. Pirate Swarm is very playable though, if you're going for a PvE kind of kill things experience. Though there are HUD issues in general, cockpit and ship combat, targeting reticles don't seem to lock properly on your target or will disappear, missile warnings will show even if there's nothing incoming, there's a few other little problems as well, and it does make the combat in general a little bit annoying and frustrating. Racing works though I had to keep on trying to join matches to get in. Now StarEngine is pretty enjoyable. There are certainly bugs and glitches, but it's certainly fun and bearable, and there are some changes and tweaks to the maps that make the gameplay feel a little bit different. There's a different flow to the maps. Some of the more annoying bugs that they need to address include my gun not firing and the putting away of your weapon when you sprint sometimes. That said, loadouts aren't working correctly either. I can't change my armor or weapons at the moment, and the coming together of loadout choices and stamina together in StarEngine are going to make it a very different game. If they iron out those bugs, we're actually going to have quite a good gameplay experience from StarEngine, and then we need to start looking at some more levels and that sort of stuff. The persistent universe, however, is the main part of 3.0's showcase, and 3.0 has a load of new features, but still requires a reasonable amount of TLC. There are lots of bugs and issues to iron out. The performance in Arena Commander and StarEngine is pretty good. In 3.0, it's typically less than 30 frames per second for a huge selection of the community, and even those with the super powerful rigs like me that are geared towards Star Citizen, I still don't enjoy more than 30 frames per second most of the time. Although sometimes, occasionally, you get a Golden Goose server which has like 50 or 60 frames per second. Focusing more on the gameplay loops now, though, available in 3.0, there's kind of 3 or 4 major types of gameplay: missions, cargo running, exploration, and then more emergent or planned gameplay. So missions have a reasonable range in 3.0, from pick-up and drop-off missions, although the admin desk drop-off missions are bugged, to patrols, to investigation, to some more interesting ones from the mission givers Miles Eckhart and Ruto. They can be a lot of fun missions. To get to Ruto and Miles missions, though, you have to grind lots of missions to get your reputation up with them, and what missions you do and what your current reputation is will affect this. Now, it can be quite a grind, and there's server crashes to contend with as well, and it seems that when a server crashes, your reputation gets reset. There's no indication of your reputation yet either in the game, which is a little bit annoying, other than if you're a criminal or not at that particular time. So there is great fun to be had with missions, but a lot of the parts are locked behind a bug wall. Cargo running. The buying and selling of cargo is pretty relaxing. I actually think a lot of players enjoy doing cargo runs, even if it's slightly grindy. When nothing else is going on, you can just chill back and grind some money. I'm going to enjoy being a miner, and I expect running various economical stuff in the future as well, like running little bases and outposts and things. The cargo running is pretty simple. The main landing zones, Levski, Olisar and Grimhex, all have resources to buy and sell at kiosks at varying prices, and these prices are dynamic. They will change when players do things and buy things and sell things. And there are a load of minor locations as well over the moons that have commodities to buy and sell, including drug slabs that have a couple of more unique items for sale. It's quite fulfilling finding an item that you can buy cheap and then sell to make a profit at another area. Even the small cargo boxes on a Mustang or Aurora can make you a profit if you're buying more expensive items and filling them. You are, however, at a risk of crashes when you have a laden cargo ship where you could lose all your cargo and have to reclaim your ship if the server crashes or you're halfway through a journey. And there is some missing gameplay here too. There are armistice zones still in the verse that prevent players from attacking around landing zones. Now you might think that's a good thing, and it sort of is, but these are eventually going away, and we're going to be having ground defences and turrets, as well as NPCs fully taking over. Now we have these turrets around some of the landing zones already, they just are a bit buggy, and you'll have them defending the comm arrays as well now. But at the moment, there's no real way of a player pirate taking over your ship or interacting with other players much. The quantum disruption mechanic is in the game, but only used by NPCs, and now quite rarely, to pull players out of quantum travel and then give them an encounter. Once other players can do this and armistice zones are gone, then I think piracy will actually be fun and exciting for all parties involved. Again, with the comm arrays, a way of disabling the turrets, that sort of stuff, there needs to be counter gameplay to a lot of the gameplay in the game. So you don't want the turret just to be invincible that's defending the comm array and just kill everything that's around it. Another missing piece of gameplay with missions and cargo is actually things to buy with your Alpha UEC. There is a limited amount to buy in 3.0, with weapons, loads of FPS gear now, and systems and stuff for your ships, but no ships to actually buy yet. And once you've earned 100,000 plus Alpha UEC, you kind of can get everything pretty easily. The ability to buy ships or have achievements or milestones or something to work towards is a missed opportunity for 3.0 for sure. Exploration. This is something pretty fun to do. Fly around moons, landing zones, looking for stuff. There are derelicts to find and loot as well in the verse, as well as the derelict javelin to look at and loads of cool vistas. Planets are rotating, they have day and night cycles. The ability to fly up and down from orbit I could literally do for hours each week. It's pretty cool and it looks great. Some of these areas are much easier to find with missions that literally mark them out on your HUD if you're looking for like the drugs lab and that sort of stuff. And Mars and Ruto as well, for example. You can find them once you get like a mission on your Mobiglass to say, go and talk to these guys. To be honest though, if 3.0 had nothing else other than just the planetary landing tech, I would have still been impressed. It is really, really pretty impressive, and it's such a cornerstone of the game now. Emergent and planned gameplay is another cool thing in the Persistent universe. The fact you can grab a group of friends and go and explore together, do some missions, escort cargo ships, or convoy together with your cargo ships and all that sort of stuff is really, really fun. The organisation of your own little games in-game as well, so races around moons, who can make the most Alpha UBC in teams in a certain amount of time, getting attacked by pirates that are actually players, or having a stowaway on board are all amazing experiences. But we're kind of being forced into doing a lot of that stuff because there isn't enough of the other gameplay loops to do. And some of that more planned gameplay is very hard to do when you can't get all your friends in the same server or someone crashes out or that sort of stuff, although it is getting better, admittedly. So it's just something to bear in mind. There's lots of fun to be had, but they're still missing some little components that would actually really, really make it. And there are some other more major things too as well. We currently have 50 players per server. We need more. We need more. I mean, there's so much space in the verse now, even in that small little section of it, that we need more than 50 players in a server. But we also need that more optimized experience. 30 frames should be the bare minimum we are aiming for as PC gamers. Realistically, we want 60. So optimizing the game to some extent has to be one of their top priorities now. A lot of issues we have is from having persistent systems not working properly. If I crash out, I want to be able to log back in immediately and then my ship to be there. I don't want to have lost my cargo or reclaim it. Server crashes can cause resets to prices of commodities and to reputations as well. If that gets sorted, that'll be a lot more enjoyable as a game. It just seems that it's cutting a load of gameplay out with not being able to do the Mars and Ruto missions, basically, because you have to grind missions and you have a server crash and it's all reset and you have to grind them again. Logging out and back in with beds working properly would also be awesome. I want to be able to log in where I log out. Weapon changes and systems changes to ships actually 100% persisting between sessions would be great as well. People being able to steal ships and store them successfully without them getting taken away. These are all things that would really, really add to the gameplay in 3.0, and it's just kind of bugged, which is the reason we don't have them. The ESP and IFCS really do need to be fixed as well. They are looking into it, though. It is something they highlighted, and I think that will be the first hotfix will probably address that. But the basics of combat and the feel of flight are so integral to this game that they really, really need to get that right. And it's something that I'm sure they will. It just does need to be addressed. They need to make further tweaks to ship and shield health, especially in Vandal Swarm. They need to make those Vandal more fragile. In general, they need to make the HUD more reliable, as there are so many little tiny little errors and things that happen. They need to iron out some of the Star Marine stuff, because that will be really enjoyable. Once they iron out a couple more of the little bugs in Star Marine, it will be pretty damn enjoyable. There are various other minor issues too, with takeoff and landings, and many, many more edge cases. Obviously, some of them are going to be a bit more than minor to some people that are having problems. I will put the troubleshooting guide and my performance guides and all that sort of stuff down below. They do seem to have helped a lot of people, so if you've got an issue, feel free to chuck it in the comments below, but check those the guides and stuff out as well to see if your issue has been solved previously. Star Citizen has that foundation of the game's persistent universe in 3.0 now, and is just starting to deliver. This is the time that Star Citizen is genuinely starting to deliver on some of the promises they said, but it's still clearly in alpha, and I'm hoping that hotfix patches are being deployed within the next couple of weeks in January to fix some of those more pressing issues. Sorting that out will actually give us access to a load more gameplay. We'll look at patch notes as they happen, and the next major gameplay patch is 3.1 and is expected towards the end of March, and they're having their quarterly release schedule now, so major content drops every 3 months. And as I was discussing with Twerk and Saurus on the Redacted podcast, which I'll also link below, I do hope they maintain a permanent PTU in the near future as well for hotfixes and general patches before 3.1 comes out, but we'll have to wait and see. Overall, 3.0, pretty damn cool, pretty damn good, but lots of issues that need to get addressed. Every month we have a ship giveaway. For January, it's for our Hammerhead gunboat, donated by our featured org IDF, the Intergalactic Defence Force. They're a lawful org focusing on trade, security, escorting and teamwork, and they're going to be dabbling a little bit in other areas as well. Links below if you're interested in checking them out. They are active for 3.0. All you need to do to be in for a chance of winning that Hammerhead is be subscribed to my YouTube channel and then comment on any of my Star Citizen videos during the month. Do you have any questions for me about Star Citizen or Squadron 42's development or anything else we've discussed or gameplay mechanics or anything or suggestions for videos, then chuck them in the comments below. A special thank you to my Patreons who allow me to create the amount of content I do. If you're interested in becoming one of them, you can find the links to Patreon as well as everything else we discussed below. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, as it really does help me, and I'll see you in the verse.